Thank you everyone for joining in today, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. I welcome you all today for today's machine learning webinar, and I'm really excited to share the 5 machine learning tools that construction companies can use and benefit from. I am joined by Owen Knott, CEO of KTrack. He is an industry expert in enterprise asset management, FM handover, facility operations, and maintenance. He is also a leader in FM handover strategies, processes, and execution focused on ensuring complete and accurate digital deliverables. Prior to KTrack, Owen spent 14 years as co-founder and CEO of Knott Mechanical, a commercial plumbing, HVAC, and building automation and service and maintenance business, servicing over 90 million square feet in Maryland. He has also been one of the early adopters of machine learning in his construction project and is seeing its advantages in saving time, cost, manual efforts, and at the same time, increase in accuracy of output. Owen is going to share his experience using this particular ML-powered tool and how it has benefited his company in detail in few minutes. Before that, let's welcome Owen. Owen, thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the webinar.
Thank you, Varun. Hi, everyone. Glad to be a part of the discussion. Machine learning is definitely powerful and has huge potential to automate workflows in construction. Much needed technology during and post-COVID era. Hopefully our discussion today will get you thinking about machine learning and how you might implement it within your environments.
Thank you, Owen, for joining us today. I'm also joined by my technical colleague, Shiv Karan, who is cognitive data scientist. Shiv Karan has been instrumental in developing all solutions that we'll be discussing today. Welcome, Shiv Karan, and thank you for joining us today.
Hey everyone, I'm really glad to be part of this technical discussion. Thank you very much for having me here, Varun. I'm looking forward to answering your queries around ML solutions we have built and its applicability in constructions. Thank you.
Thank you, Shiv Karan. So, audience, before I begin, I would like to understand how many of you have actually explored machine learning as a tool for your construction-related projects or software. At this point, I would like to request all of you to make use of the chat box. You can type in your responses so that we can have some level of interaction, since in this virtual events, we can't really see you and get your expressions. Please drop in your responses in the chat box. I understand that we have a nice mix of people who have already explored and some who are keen to explore the machine learning solution. Let me tell you guys, this webinar is for all of you. While many of you have tried ML solution, you must understand that ML requires a lot of data. For ML engine to learn, draw patterns, and then give you desired output on a consistent basis. We understand these challenges, and throughout the process, and the thought process, and the accuracy and consistency that you all are expecting. Through this webinar, we want to give you examples of where ML can be useful and be used for the construction industry. We want to show you that ROI is visible from the day one. There is also a myth around machine learning being only for the construction giants. However, that is not the case at all. ML as a solution for construction giant does more complex and robust tasks, while for relatively smaller companies saves cost on manual labor. The hero here is in the data. In fact, the smaller companies need to think innovatively to accelerate growth. And I would again emphasize, people and the companies who have data can really make a gold mine out of it. Let's look at some stats before we begin with the tools. In year 2020, the most sought after ML services include NLP, natural language processing, predictive analysis, and data visualization. In year 2021, AI augmentation will generate 2.9 trillion in business value and recover 6.2 billion hours of worker productivity. Artificial intelligence in construction market was valued at 580 million in 2019 and is expected to reach a value of 3.3 billion by year 2025. North America is one of the most advanced construction markets in the world. It's second largest construction market after Asia Pacific, with more than 15% of global annual construction revenues. The various applications that use AI technologies are project management, field management, risk management, schedule management, supply chain management, and many others. Of course, we cannot change your thought process entirely in this one meeting for 1 hour. But what this data tells us is that AI is something that cannot be ignored. One of the few good applications of ML for construction can definitely put the company on a different orbit of growth. I hope some of you will agree. Again, feel free to share your responses in the chat box. It helps us understand your thought process. So let's jump in right away. The first tool that we're going to talk about is ML-powered OCR solution, optical character recognition. As per the reports by Transparency Market Research, the value of OCR industry by the end of 2025 will be 25 billion and will grow annually at 14.8%. These are huge numbers and one cannot ignore them. So let's understand from Owen how K-Track used ML OCR solution. Owen, would you like to describe the OCR solution for K-Track and the problem you are addressing? What was your thought process and problem statement?
Sure. So for K-Track, field engineers and contractors are manually verifying and copying data available from asset nameplates and other labels as part of handover data management. This activity is done manually in less than optimal conditions, leading to errors and wasted time. As an overview, our workflows include populating K-Track asset data from information taken from approved submittals. Next, we utilize the mobile apps for K-Track to verify that data from the submittal against asset nameplates in the field. So we're verifying information from approved submittals and then collecting additional data that is required to be delivered on that project. The utilization of the app to verify submittal data also has a step to confirm the correct asset information is installed at the time of verification. We needed a solution that would implement our workflows of verification and data collection, as well as make the process of data verification and collection faster, easier, and considerably more accurate.
So, Owen, that's very interesting problem statement. I'm sure a lot of construction companies face this challenge of gathering data from the field. What audience would like to understand is, why did you choose ML to solve this challenge that you're facing?
We chose ML because we needed a process that could be taught to identify and extract the data we desired across an infinite variations in nameplate styles and layouts. One that would process standard black and white images with clear labels, as well as one that would process embossed paper or metal plates without clearly defined labels or field identifiers. We also wanted to account for poor lighting, focus, image quality, camera angles, and perspectives, as the environments in the field don't always enable the end user to capture nameplate information photos, directly in front of the plate itself. With ML, we were able to account for all of these variables and more. The ML-powered solution looks at the document as a whole, scans all of the available data on the document, and considers every word as interrelated to each other. The problem and solution not only involves OCR, but when the image is captured, it needs to be pre-processed before the OCR engine can run. And all of this pre-processing is done using the machine learning, looking to eliminate components like glare, focus, and perspective, and make those corrections so that the image, when processed for OCR, is optimal.
So definitely, as an ML solution, it is not just capturing the characters, but it is doing a lot of pre-processing on the images. Whenever we talk about OCR, I'm sure everyone or most of us have heard about Google OCR and Azure powered OCR solutions. Would you want to comment anything around how it compares with these technologies and any benefits therein?
Yeah, so there was one big difference for us. Google and Azure OCR gives you the text as they interpret it. This is just a text files. We go a step further to make sense of the data extracted, identifying key value pairs, if you will. So when a traditional OCR solution gives you just a bunch of characters, we correlate those and map these characters and create a map that these characters should correspond to. For instance, the model number, and this text should correspond to manufacturer and so forth. So we're able to continuously learn the layouts of the nameplates and then associate appropriately the information that we desire with the nameplate to extract the data. Second difference is, and before I move on, this means we don't have to manually translate OCR information and results, which is also a time-consuming process, and that makes life a whole lot easier. Secondly, a difference is the OCR engine is specialized for us for construction data. It has a higher accuracy as compared to generic OCR engines. We've used thousands of nameplates to train the OCR engine to logically identify the data that we wanted. Our OCR solution captures and converts tons of construction images into well-categorized text format. We can then use that data to verify information captured from the submittal, as well as to populate additional fields, including serial number, manufacturer date, and others. This format is, for us now, easy to edit and or expand upon and easy to share. So it's a custom solution that further boosts our productivity, improves the documentation, and ultimately enhances our efficiency through accuracy in the interpretation of the data. For example, 6017 could be interpreted as a number, 6017, or from a human interaction perspective, it might be interpreted as 6017 or 60L7. The machine learning and OCR combination eliminates those issues for us. Also, the ability to read text despite multiple alignment issues within the nameplate itself. So however information is organized on the nameplate, we were able to train the ML engine to identify and extract the data that we wanted. And that takes a tremendous amount of the manual processing out as well.
That's interesting, Owen. I mean, I would like to again point or reiterate. If we were to do this traditionally using set of rules and algorithms, we would have to train this for infinite number of nameplate combinations. But as you rightly said, machine learning is able to address all of that in a very short span of time and be able to generate good accuracy. Let's look at the demo. I'm sure audience is waiting to see how this solution looks like. So let me share my screen. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes, Varun, we can see your screen.
So here in the demo, in the video, you'll see, we're navigating to a demo project, and then initiating an asset verification workflow, then finally selecting an asset to be verified. And that asset data needs to get verified using the OCR imagery. Here we're capturing the image from the mobile application. And then once the image is captured, we have the option to manually crop or automatically crop the image appropriately. And then we can submit it for processing. And so taking this image now and submitting it to processing, you're seeing a sample output of minimal data here, serial number, model number, manufacturer, and so forth. And so taking that image and processing it for us is an important step. There's a few additional examples just to give you these nameplates that are varying in styles and information. One showing where multiple manufacturers are identified, another showing where multiple model numbers can be identified. And so what we're getting out of this is you're seeing a snapshot of the entire workflow, but samples of how we can scan the nameplate, capture the image, and then process the data, which is then further compared to the existing asset data, and then flowing through a validation and collection process where the serial number and manufacturer data, et cetera, would be populated. So going through, as we've said earlier, an infinite number of manufacturer nameplates that we sourced from our system, and then training the OCR engine to capture that data. There's one where there's multiple manufacturers identified as well, was critical to train the ML so that we could, get the information that we wanted with, considerably high rates of success.
Thank you for sharing that, Owen. I think that looks very exciting. I could notice that even very complicated model numbers were getting captured accurately. Owen, would you, I'm sure this solution would have been very helpful, but for our reference of our audience, would you like to share any kind of data points so that we understand how much is this benefited?
Sure. So in 2020, K-Track will participate in, roughly $5 billion worth of construction projects. And from those projects, we will deliver approximately 50,000 assets that require nameplate processing. From a time savings perspective, this ML solution has enabled us to go from a pre and post processing data collection and validation workflow that in some cases took on average of 2 minutes to a workflow that is roughly 4 seconds. And so what that looks like for us across, a year and all of those assets and projects is roughly a savings of 1,600 hours. From an accuracy perspective, we're seeing considerable reduction in data errors. So, in our world, if 1 out of 100 assets had a data error, a character swapped zeros and O's, ones and L's, fives and S's, and so forth, we would see, on an average project with 3,500 assets, 35 with data errors, right? With the machine learning, we're reducing that 35 to 10 or 150 assets over a 50,000 asset, deliverable throughout the course of the year. So considerable improvements in data quality and accuracy of the information that's being captured and verified. And then, what that looks like, from a cost perspective, if we look at a 40,000 square foot building that has roughly 3,500 assets, the original, pre-processing, post-processing methodology that we used, which included the mobile application and, manually verifying and collecting the information, it would take us about 117 hours to process the field data. And now the actual time on assets, collecting and verifying that data has been reduced to a total of 4 hours. So a savings of 113 hours, at $110 an hour, it's roughly, $12,000 savings. On a larger project, say 200,000 square or roughly 8,000 assets, seeing a 266-hour field data collection process be reduced to approximately 9 hours of data collection and processing. A savings of 257 hours, or close to $29,000. For us, these are significant numbers, especially given that we process data on our own as a service on behalf of our clients. And then for our clients who are using the app in conjunction with the contractors and subcontractors, they're seeing significant savings. And I think more importantly, they're not, consuming hours of, valuable employees' time processing data that can otherwise be committed to, other seemingly more important tasks that are, focused on the successful delivery of the overall project itself.
Wow, and that's great and huge benefits. It's very interesting to note again that K-Track is itself a user of the K-Track software, and these benefits directly map into the services that K-Track offer. I think that is very wonderful. Thank you for sharing this wonderful demonstration. I hope this will help many of our attendees here to adopt such solution for their businesses too. So to sum it up, OCR improves internal and external operations by improving speed, improving accuracy, and decreasing cost. It also takes care of procrastinators who say that we will come back and correct this, but that generally never happens. I hope you all like the solution. Again, feel free to share your thoughts in the chat box. We look forward to your responses. Moving forward to another solution. Next that we want to talk is ML-powered quantity takeoff from PDF drawings. Even as we talk a whole lot about BIM and everyone is accelerating towards adoption of BIM, it is sad that 80% of the data exchange, or perhaps even more than that, still happens in PDF files. How many hours does it take for your designers to sit with the construction drawing and perform quantity takeoff or recreate the BIM models? My guess is that for some, this job is an everyday task all year long. Now imagine this being available to you in few seconds, just a click. Our machine learning powered floor detection and quantity takeoff solution detects the floor plan in simple and complex designs. This could be spanning across multiple stories and wide spaces to give you the solution within seconds. It not only detects but also color codes the floor plan for ease of understanding and further operations. Once this is ready, you can directly jump to quantity takeoff, cost estimation, conversion of the 2D drawings to 3D, and much more. Let's look at the demo to understand. Let me share my screen. I hope you can see my screen. So what we are showing here is the processing of floor plans, which is put through an ML engine. So an example floor plan as we take here is like this. Here, what would you would see is there is bathroom, there are a few bedrooms, there's some kitchen area at the center, living, and everything. When we put this through the machine learning engine, it automatically classifies the spaces, and it's a raster PDF. It's not based on vector PDF, it's a raster PDF. And we automatically color code most of the entities in the PDF drawing. this can be automatically then used for various workflows, even to an extent like you want to check accessibility within the bathroom or various spaces. In this next part of the video, we are showing that we are doing automatic identification of various elements in the PDF drawing. So we identify closets, toilet, sink, any other features like that, windows, doors to good extent, and this can be readily exported into quantity takeoff report, as you can see here. Again, let's look at this. I'll pause the video for a bit. You can see sink getting identified, toilets, windows in various places, doors, all doors kind of highlighted separately. And to an extent that we can even get the coordinates and the sizes of these entities, so that you can easily export that into a quantity takeoff or many other workflows that you can imagine. Another such example here, PDF file, which is then processed automatically to identify bedrooms, living space, kitchen, sink, also identify the entities within the space. And the good part is all of this is happening using machine learning automatically. When this is extended, you can really, again, to highlight people, lot of us who are in the construction companies are sitting on gold mine of data. There are thousands of projects that you have executed in the past, and the legacy data is sitting right with you. A whole lot can be made out of that data. Right. I hope again you like this solution. If you have any questions, feel free to drop in those questions in the question answer section, chat box. We'll be taking those questions towards the end of the webinar. I hope you can imagine, like I said, many workflows. Once the the entities are identified, the floor plan is identified. This data can be fed to various workflows downstream, checking accessibility, just doing quantity takeoffs, just doing many other workflows like this. Possibilities are endless, infinite possibilities. That's also one of our vision and motto. Moving on to our next solution, Scan2BIM. In the last few years, 3D scanning has gained a lot of popularity. Scan2BIM can help in planning, coordination, inspection, and renovation workflows. How much time does it take for an engineer to convert point cloud data for 10,000 square feet space to a LOD 300 model? Our research says that it takes about 10 to 15 days. That's huge. Size of point clouds also is very high, and sometimes that itself becomes a limitation for working with point cloud data. We have developed a machine learning powered Scan2BIM framework, which automatically identifies and locates objects like human and then color codes them. Machine learning helps in classification and segmentation. And the goal of this classification and segmentation is to classify input point cloud data with labels such as pipes, doors, windows, floor, walls, and much more. This, when converted, this data and this classification is the feeding point so that we can convert this data into 3D BIM model automatically again. And then export this 3D BIM model data either as a Revit or IFC format. IFC being a standard format, neutral file format, can be readily imported in any BIM software. With this framework, we hope to simplify the process of BIMification and thus enable engineers to design better and optimize existing buildings. I'm sure a lot of you can really make great use of this workflow. Again, without further delay, let's jump into a demonstration again. Let me share my screen. All right, I hope you can see my screen. So what we are showing here is a scan of a ceiling which has the ducts and pipes of an under construction place. It's a ceiling plan. The columns are also cut out. And then you would see that machine learning solution like an optical character recognition or in anything that you've seen like Google Photos or anything, it is identifying entities from the point cloud data. This also works directly in 3D, not by changing that into like an image and then doing a plain 2D image processing. This is a 3D processing. We are directly working out of the point cloud data in 3D. And once this point cloud are identified, at this point, I would like to bring to your attention that we also classify these point clouds with specific labels. Like this set of point clouds are ducts and these set of point clouds are pipes and so on. Once we have this information, it becomes easier to then take this data and instantiate the geometry back in Revit. Where we, when we instantiate this entities in Revit, we actually create specific families, not a generic family such as like generic model or just meshes. We are actually instantiating the actual objects type of families. So here, if I select this pipe, you would see we have actually instantiated a pipe family. If we go forward, we've instantiated a duct family. And so on. Here we also show you how that point cloud was imported. So here all that point cloud is imported into Revit. Just for the comparison, when we fit in the pipe onto that pipe point cloud, the value of the pipe diameter as calculated is about 90.6 mm. A human would map that to about 90 mm. So you can see the level of accuracy and precision that we are able to deliver. Of course, more can be done with a lot of data being trained on your specific set of data set. We've already trained this on about 800 GB plus of data and tried to make the best and robust solution out of this. I'm also, I feel that some of you must be curious to try this solution out yourself. So we are sharing one link on this chat box where you can yourself upload your data set, either the point cloud files or the PDF files for which you would want to run the quantity takeoff solutions. And we will be happy to process that data and share the results with you. Yeah. Of course, needless to say, we will keep your data utmost confidential. If you are uncomfortable, we are happy to comply with NDA formalities before you share the data for further evaluation. This kind of workflow, I mean, scan to BIM, I'm sure can help a lot of workflows in the industry, facility management, review of under construction projects, BIM coordination, and much more. And especially in this era of COVID-19, I think such remote operations become even more important. I hope, again, you've been liking the session so far. Without further delay, let's jump into our next very interesting solution. ML powered mask unmask compliance detection. So this next solution is based on the on-site safety during and post-COVID. We cannot rule out human presence on-site from our industry. However, their safety is now an integral element of your planning. This solution allows you to detect the compliance and non-compliance of safety guidelines. In case any non-compliance is detected, concerned supervisors are alerted along with the screen capture of the worker. We are going to demonstrate this solution with the help of detection of mask. The solution allows you to identify people wearing masks or those who are unmasked. The same concept can be applied for other safety equipment as well. The solution can alarm operator if someone is found without a mask or essential safety equipment. Let's jump straight right into another demonstration video. I hope you can see my screen again. All right, so we need to protect our staff and workforce on site, and the simplest way is mask. And there is so much more to monitor as well. So we foresee that construction sites are going to have a lot of CCTV footage, and just with the CCTV footage, we can start detecting the no mask violations and capture the data. It is accurate to good extent by turning head left and right is showing you that it can detect mask violations or not in a very good accuracy in different cases. Again, when there is no mask, it detects as unmasked and highlights that as a red. And once the mask is put on, it will highlight that it is in compliance. Just imagine again, all that this solution needs is the CCTV footage, and then you are good to go, have the entire monitoring happening on site all the time. Any thoughts, Owen? I'm sure we've talked about this. You've found this very interesting yourself. Do you think this could be interesting for you or your customers?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, well, we know that safety is a, major factor on the construction site and is top of mind of everyone. And to the extent that we can assist all of those on site, ensuring, more so their safety by identifying, would-be violations and addressing them, everybody benefits from that. And ultimately, we're shooting to get everybody home safe, and to the extent that we can use machine learning to do it, I think adds tremendous value to the project.
Yeah, and I personally have felt that we all involve CCTV cameras, but they have always been used for like a root cause analysis or a post analysis once the event happens. It's time to make use of that data which is sitting with you and without being used. We can, with this solution, you can make CCTV a preventive approach, where as soon as the violations happen, supervisors are alerted, every system of control can be kicked in, and before it creates a further damage, a corrective action can be taken place. I think this has a lot of potential in the construction industry in general. I hope everyone, you're liking what you are seeing so far. Please feel free to drop in your messages, feedback on the chat box. We'll be happy to share. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them towards the end of the webinar. Last but not least, I want to talk about voice-based BIM assistant for BIM managers. This solution is designed by my team to demonstrate how BIM managers can quickly do review of models using voice commands. There are some commands that BIM managers and the designers use very, very frequently. Now, our NLP learns these commands that are frequently used and executes them for you through the help of voice command. A lot of progress has been made in voice-based assistance in the field of AI with respect to multiple industries, be it electronic items, automobiles, home automation, computer-based learning for students, and more. Why shouldn't the construction industry make the most of this too? I personally have stopped using like alarm app or even the songs app myself. When I can talk, I just need to talk to my phone and say, play this song or wake me up at so-and-so time, and it takes care of itself. We want to bring in the same concept to the construction industry. It is focused on providing voice-based UI for BIM software for commands that are frequently used by industry professionals like architects, new entrants, or other non-technical stakeholders. Again, without lot of text and lot of talking, we believe in a lot of videos. So let's jump into the next set of next video demonstration. Just a second. For this particular video, I'll be turning on audio from the video. I hope you can see my screen. So what we have here is a plugin for Revit, and you can see how it interacts.
Okay, Revit. Select all type of windows.
All type of windows are selected.
So what is total count of selected windows?
Total count of selected windows is 19.
What is the elevation of second story?
Elevation of second story is 9.84 feet.
Add a note. Increase the elevation of second story by 2 feet.
Note added.
Zoom in on second story. Replace walls from second story to timber clad.
All walls from second story are replaced with type timber clad.
I hope you can see how easy it becomes when you are in the meeting and you're discussing with a whole lot of variations, how such a solution can really help streamline the workflows of review, of finding things, and so on. Such a voice assistant, I don't see this being very useful in the design process, because you wouldn't want to talk to a voice assistant, say, draw a wall of 2 meters from point A, XY. But I'm sure this is kind of workflow is very useful in the process of reviews. And I'm again invite Owen. What are your thoughts, Owen? Do you think such technology be interesting for you?
Absolutely. As we move past design into construction coordination, fabrication, or even as-built and FM models, the ability to navigate a model using the voice assistant, in our opinion, really accelerates the usefulness of BIM post-design, where you don't have to be a Revit expert, if you will, to filter a view or to identify certain elements within the model itself. So it opens up interaction with those models to a much larger base of people that can then otherwise easily navigate certain tasks using voice, instead of knowing all of the necessary commands that would be required within Revit itself.
Great, Owen. I'm sure some of the attendees are also thinking along the similar lines. We want to make it the software look very simple to interact with, and very easy for new adopters to work with it. If I were to share some worthy stats, the market for AI solutions, and especially those guided by voice, is really booming. AI market is expected to reach 300 billion by 2026. That's tremendous. The demand for AI personal assistant is one of the factors driving that growth. If you like any of these solutions, please drop in message in the chat box. And with that, we've reached towards the end of our ML Tools Tech Meet. I want to, definitely we'll be taking on questions right after this. But before that, I want to thank all of the audience for participating and sharing your thoughts. Again, to highlight, we are posting the link again. If you want to try any of these solutions out, you can upload your files, let us know your interest, and we'll be happy to reach out to you with the solutions. I'm also sharing my email. If you would like to discuss on any of these solutions, how these can help your industry, your personal workflows, we're happy to get onto a call and discuss. So with that, let me open the floor for any questions that you may have. So Owen, I think we have one question for you from from deciding to use ML solution to actually applying it in your project. What was your turnaround time, and the kind of pre-prepared data helped you in calculating the ROI? Requesting Owen to share the thoughts.
So, you know, from concept to delivery, the turnaround time was, I would say, approximately 3, maybe 4 months. You know, to have a solution up and running and working through, you know, all of the technical what ifs. In terms of what information we used, we certainly had at our disposal thousands of images from assets that we have collected over time. And so we were able to use those images as well as understand from our own data, you know, where mistakes were commonly made. We OCR'd most, if not all, of the images prior to starting this project, and you know, compared that data to actual data captured to identify common errors, and then used all of that information, the addition of the images, to you know, inform the, you know, development of our solution.
Thank you. Another question that we have is from Adam. Can OCR understand non-native English speakers with specific grammar semantics? Across region, language often becomes a barrier, particularly with remote work and cooperation of teams and clients. To this, we would like to also invite thoughts from Shivkaran. Shivkaran, how difficult is it to support languages from non-native English-speaking community? I'm sure we've done a lot in this space in supporting local English language from India as well. Shivkaran?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So, Varun, for like the underlying, you know, the underlying framework what we use to do the OCR for our OCR engine remains the same. It is not it is language agnostic. So if we have, you know, the like this, the amount of data, the minimum amount of data we need, we can actually switch it, and you know, we can learn any of the non-native language if we have certain amount of data. And that amount, as we are proceeding with the technology, previously it used to be, when we used to use a statistical model, it used to be very, very data hungry. It still is. These all models are data driven, but with advancements in algorithms, we can actually you know, we can actually use comparatively less amount of data in the language we are trying to, you know, do OCR on. So it is pretty much very easy nowadays, and with only just a small amount of data.
All right, thank you, Shivkaran. I'm getting again the concerns on confidentiality for the data uploaded on the link provided. This is a link. If you want to share data to your comfort level, if you are really still want to be extra careful about your data, we are happy to take this offline, sign an NDA, and then take it forward with actual sharing of data and then results. If you want a quick turnaround, feel free to upload the data on the site. From our side, we take all due measures to ensure the confidentiality and data not getting shared anywhere, and protecting the data. So let me take a few more questions here. For floor detection solution, while generating quantity takeoff, does your solution use static library for that detection? If not, what is your mechanism to keep the data updated for every new upcoming model? Again, Shivkaran, you can add to this, but Alison, we have to train this data on large amounts of PDF files and for specific type of objects to be recognized. Of course, some of these solutions get limited to type of objects we are going to recognize from the PDF files. Probably additional training and updates are required when new type of entities are getting added into your PDF files. If the entities are similar, then the solution is still effective, and can support new set of PDF files, new set of data that is coming in. So what we have to still prioritize first is the type of entities that you would want to detect. We have one question from Harry M. OCR related question: does your solution also capture data if it is not aligned to XY plane? Are there any difficulties for those cases? Owen, any thoughts around that?
Sure. So it absolutely can handle data not aligned on XYZ planes. It's, you know, ultimately a factor of training the OCR engine. So, you know, when we, you know, see data that isn't aligned, how do we, you know, begin to understand and translate that data to text, and then ultimately to identify it as, you know, data that is relevant to the field information that we're looking for. Shiv, I know, you know, data alignment on XYZ planes and data that's not aligned, maybe on an angle or you know, an arcing. I don't know if you want to add to that. There's additional complexities for sure, but it's absolutely possible.
Yeah. So there are a couple of things we do. We can actually, you know, sometimes the data is in is aligned horizontally. Sometimes it is vertically. Like, you know, model number is written vertically. Model number, the field name model number is written, and the actual model number is written sometimes vertically, sometimes it is horizontally. So there, how we tackle it, that is one of the issues we faced. And there, how we tackled it was, we tried to learn the templates. So by seeing the image, we learn the template that, okay, this particular, you know, in this particular solution, we have to look for, you know, like in the vertical direction, when it is horizontal, then based on the template, we look for horizontal. And I think the question for the, I think the question might be around, you know, if like the nameplates or the text written on it is not, you know, like it's not 90 degree in X or 90 degree in, you know, Y. It can be 45 degrees, right? So there we do some, like our pre-processing module does these corrections, like the skew correction, the rotation, you know, rotation corrections, even if it is, you know, upside down. So it will still do the rotation correction. So those things are in place. First phase, it detects what the issue is, and second phase, it corrects it, then it sends to the OCR engine, so that OCR engine gets a consistent input. That's all.
Thank you, Shiv. I have one question from John Prisland. The voice recognition system is really impressive. Thank you, John. What sort of accuracy of recognition are you getting, including with technical terms? So I would like to highlight specifically, when we were building this solution, we took into account this exact problem. With an NLP engine, we need to first build a local language model, which means that as soon as the Revit model is loaded, using the entities and the metadata available in the model, we again build a temporary language model on the fly, and then we run the NLP, I mean the voice from the user through this language model. This significantly enhances the accuracy of the recognition, because when you are talking about certain terms for a non-construction guy or anything, when he's talking about something, you often see that it does not recognize those terms very easily. It happens to us humans as well. If we are in a field and if someone is vaguely talking about a term as well, we are able to understand. But if I suddenly pick up some very complicated medical terminology, we would oftentimes ask again to really understand what exactly the person is trying to say. The same kind of concept is applied here, because that local language model is very specific to every model is being built. The accuracy of the voice engine is much higher. With voice ML, can the ML rapidly learn any software functions and workflow? If so, how long does it typically take? From Adrian. Thank you, Adrian, for that question. Like I said, if the APIs for executing those commands from respective software functions are available, training such a language model and then employing that for specific functions, I'm roughly guessing here, Shivkaran, if you want to correct that, probably 4 or 5 months, depending upon the software, depending upon the complexity, this can vary. But I think what it does require some sort of a local speaker voice information, so that that accuracy can be brought in.
Yeah, just to add to the point, for this like specific software functions, it like we are currently talking about the construction domain. So when we have, when we have these like all the functions what we want to recognize upfront, it can reduce the time, but the complexity other than that voice engine comes in the integration part, like how we want to integrate and how we are going to trigger those specific functions. Like maybe let's say if you're saying open source, then that integration part is also there, that has to be in sync with the voice engine. Rest all is the similar things.
Thank you. Next is from Gilberto. For 2D to 3D conversion, is there currently a method to locating model before the export? Or does the user need to locate the model in Revit environment? Gilberto, in our 2D to 3D conversion, we directly operate out of the point cloud data. So the model that we create in Revit or IFC is actually based on the coordinates of the points. If they are properly aligned and located, then the Revit model or IFC model is created accordingly. But currently we do not have a mechanism to locate it or orient it before the conversion process. Again, one of the question from Anonymous, can bill of material tool be scaled to extract elements from complicated models? Yes. I mean, we are extending this to much more complicated models where it could have probably 60 to 100 rooms in a commercial building kind of space. A lot of this depends on the data availability. If a lot of data is available, we can really increase the accuracy of such extractions. Right. With that, I think we are towards the end of our webinar. I want to thank everyone and the lovely audience for so many wonderful questions. Thank you everyone for attending the webinar. I personally enjoyed the webinar today. Thank you so much and have a great day ahead. Stay safe. Take care. Thank you, Owen. Thank you, Shivkaran, again, for your time and participation. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.